And welcome back to the journey to the FarLands. Let's see, double checking here real quick. Looks like I've got everything, so duck out of here. Looks like everything's clear. Let's get this thing covered up and proceed on the way. All right. It's been an interesting, well, no, not quite. It's been a frustrating couple of days since the last episode. Let's see, before I get into that, let's get the world size report. We have, according to Window, the world folder is now occupying 220 megabytes. I've noticed that it generally is always reporting a whole number, which kind of supports my rounding theory. It's either rounding it or cutting it off or something. I think rounding is probably more likely. And let's see, Minecraft is reporting 218.56 megabytes. And so we proceed. And what I mean by a frustrating couple of days is that yesterday, instead, you'll notice, I'm quite sure, that I didn't get an episode put together and uploaded yesterday because I was really feeling kind of blech. And that's not exactly a technical term, although perhaps some people might say it was. But, let's go around. Basically, I think it is accurate because that's very much how I felt for the last several days, the last couple of days, whatever. Basically kind of a lot of the time sick to my stomach and a lot of coughing and even some throwing up and all that kind of wonderful nastiness. The kind of thing that pretty much almost makes you cringe just to think about it. It's very unpleasant. Thankfully, it was short-lived, and I'm back in business, as it were. And I think that starting today, what I'm going to be doing about that is I'm going to try to record at least 2 or 3 episodes ahead of time. And why did I climb up this thing? For no reason. And that way, should something like that happen again, as sooner or later it almost inevitably will, then I will at least have something ready to upload that was prepared a little bit ahead of time. And perhaps that way I won't have to have the chance of missing a day should I be either just plain too busy, as sometimes happens, or not feeling good enough to even attempt it, as happened the other day, yesterday even. So I'm going to try to do that. Give myself a little bit of a lead here in episode recording, and I think that will help. Along with the wannabe illness or just plain physical unpleasantries, another bit of really frustrating fun that I had was in rendering video. I did get one video recorded yesterday in the morning before the worst of this set on, and it caught on to me and just pretty much ruined the rest of the day. And I had a really bad time getting it rendered, getting the final video rendered out, and then getting it uploaded. You see, with that video, that was one of several recently that I have changed a setting in the one of the project settings in Sony Vegas to get it to use 32 bits per pixel as opposed to the 8 bits per pixel that I had been using. And the reason for that was that the 8-bit recordings were the 8-bit per pixel color was okay, but it was coming out a little on the dark side, and you know, especially after YouTube gets through with their processing, how it tends to darken an awful lot of videos and so on. So I tried this, and it did have a visibly noticeable improvement in the video quality and how bright things turned out and so on. But the one thing that I've noted is that with all the other render settings being the same, the amount of time it took to render the final video was about not doubled or even tripled, but a little bit more than quadrupled, a little bit more than 4 times what it was before. And it was amazing. I had the video that I did get finished was a 28-minute video, about, well, 28, 29 minutes, something like that. And it took something over 2.5 hours for that video to render out. And that was amazing. I did some experiments today with a short 3-minute video, and using the old set, all the render settings being the same, with the only change being in the project where it was using 32-bit color as opposed to 8-bit color. And the 8-bit color version took, I think it was a few seconds over 4 minutes to render. Now, mind you, this is a 3-minute video. A little bit over 4 minutes to render. Oh, well, a touch long in my opinion, but not bad. And then I did the same video, the exact same video project, and the only change was I opened the project settings and changed it from 8-bit color to 32-bit color. That video took something around 14.5 minutes to render, with that one single little change in the settings. And yes, it looked better, but that's not quite the point in this case. You know, I'm concerned about the amount of time it takes to render these things. Because the longer it takes to render, the longer I am unable to use the computer for anything else. Because while the computer is rendering video, I'm pretty much unable to do anything else with it. And so there you have it. 8 bits per pixel color. You've got 4 minutes and change to render. 32 bits per color, and you've got 14.5 or so minutes to render. And strangely enough, the file size in both cases was actually just about the same. Very close to being the same file size. No more than about 100 kilobytes different. So then I tried something else, and the reason I did that is because very often when uploading my videos that I render out as MP4 format files, I use the MainConcept AAC, MainConcept AVC AAC encoding protocol or whatever it is in Sony Vegas, which produces an MP4 format file. And that normally is what I've been doing for a very long time. And so one of the things that I've seen is this particular message that I get from YouTube very frequently when uploading those files. And I've been all over all the settings and options everywhere in Sony Vegas, and there is nothing like preparing for internet streaming or fast start or anything like that available when using the MP4 format from MainConcept. And so I decided to try something else. I took that same 3-minute video and I had Sony Vegas render it out using QuickTime. I tried to make the QuickTime settings as best I could guess approximately equal to the settings I used with MainConcept for the MP4s. And it absolutely amazed me what the results was. And trust me, this is not a good amazement. Specifically, the render time. The render time just kept, the amount of time estimated remaining in the render just kept going up and up and up. Until finally, when the thing was, I think, in the neighborhood of about 65% completed, I got frustrated with the whole thing and canceled the process. It had been rendering for an hour and 45 minutes, and it was only 65% complete. As if that wasn't bad enough, I looked at the file size for the video that it had been generating. 311 megabytes for a 3-minute video. A 3-minute video taking an hour and 45 minutes to render 65%. According to the projection, it said it had another 55 minutes left to go. And I kind of question that because the estimated time remaining seems to have gone up more often than it went down. And so on. Now this same file, when rendered out, the same video project, when rendered as the MainConcept MP4, came in at about 34 megabytes. And that's for the 8-bit per pixel and for the 32-bit per pixel color. And so I have to really seriously question the sanity of the whole QuickTime thing, because a 3-minute video that came out at 34 megabytes, even with 32 bits per pixel color, was coming out at 311 megabytes when it was only 65% completed using QuickTime. There is something completely and totally, absolutely beyond all hope of reason insane about that. And so I have to kind of really wonder, what am I going to do with render settings? I have talked to some people that have more experience in the matter and have been putting out very good quality looking videos for quite some long time, and I've gotten some very good advice. The 32-bit per pixel color being one of them. And I understand entirely why, because I've seen a sample of one of my videos that was side-by-side comparison of the 8-bit per pixel version and the 32-bit per pixel version. There's really almost no comparison. The 8-bit version was a lot darker. It was a little grainier looking almost. And the 32-bit color version came out looking a lot brighter, a lot better in a lot of ways. And like I said, it is having about the same file size as the other one. The main issue being the amount of time it takes to render this beast. You know, as you can imagine, I'm really not all that interested at all in the idea of having a 30-minute video take 2.5 hours, 2 3/4 hours to render. You know, that's just, it's excessive. And that's with a reasonably modern quad-core CPU. Okay, let's get the boat going here. Let's see. And well, and I've watched the task manager, the system resources tab on it, the performance thing, and while rendering, it's got all 4 CPU cores running at about 60 to 70%, and even then it's still taking, with nothing else running on the machine, just the rendering process, it's taking as long as it is to render. And it's amazing. And if that wasn't bad enough, then there was the fun I had getting that video uploaded yesterday. Whoops. Excuse me. I thought I heard somebody at the door. Fortunately, I didn't actually. I don't know what it was. Anyway, the upload, yeah. That upload. A 29-minute or so, 28 or 29-minute video. And the actual file size was about 440 megabytes or thereabouts. I've uploaded longer videos in less time than this one took. I don't know what the heck was going on, but suffice it to say that in the time it took this video to upload, I could have watched it 6 times. I mean, really, what's going on with that? I mean, I know YouTube has issues occasionally, but really? Seriously? That's not an issue. That's a major industrial strength fail. So I don't know what to say about that, but if a video takes long enough to upload that you could actually watch it 6 times in that amount of time, there's something wrong with that. especially when normally it uploads in about 1.5 times the amount of time it takes to watch it. Which still, honestly, I think is kind of slow, but it's better than taking 6 times the length of time to watch it. Okay, sun is heading down. I need to find a place to bunk in for the night. And I guess this is going to do. Let's go ahead and throw this sand up here. If I can pick it up. Okay. Light in here. Okay. All right. Anyway, I appreciate your watching and listening to me moan and whine and complain about being sick and having troubles rendering videos and the amount of time it takes to upload them these days and so on. I promise I won't do too awfully much of that in the future. In the meantime, don't forget to stop by tinfoilchef.com/donate to use the chip-in widget there to donate to Child's Play charity. A very worthy cause, cutting games and books and toys to kids in hospitals all over the world. And we'll see you in the next episode, which I'm going to record almost as soon as I finish recording this one, and so on. So keep those questions coming. I know I didn't get to any this episode. I will in the next episode, so please definitely keep them coming. It helps immensely. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.